So today I've been working on my Cockney accent. As you may or may not know, if you've recently started watching my videos, is that I'm an actor and sometimes I need to learn accents that I don't already know. So at the moment, well, as of 2 days ago, Cockney was not an accent that was really on my radar. It's not one I considered that I could do, but I've been trying my best to learn it these past few days, as you do. So I'm just gonna, really put myself out there and just do some of my practicing on camera for you, and hopefully it might be relaxing. So Cockney is an accent that is from London. I'm from North England, Manchester to be specific, so my accent is more northern, but it's not super strongly northern anyway. But there are certain northernisms that I do have that while I've been learning this Cockney accent, I've really noticed what sounds in that I sound, which sounds in which I sound really northern. And yeah, it's really hard to try and drop those, especially as I haven't really acted with a different accent in ages, apart from Indian, which is kind of feels just as normal to me as my Mancunian accent anyway. Done a little bit of American here and there, but recently I've pretty much just stuck to my normal accent. So this was a little trip down memory lane doing my accent exercises. But anyway, I digress. What I will be going through is these accent phonetics exercises that I was taught how to use when I was at uni. So you could essentially apply these exercises to any accent. It's the basis of learning any accent in the world, when applied to the English language, of course. And yeah, I really like it. There's certain sounds that I'm still really struggling with, so you'll probably hear them, or you might not, I don't know. At first, one thing that I try and do is I try and exaggerate the accent as much as possible to make it as extreme as possible, so that you master how to say it in its extremity, and then you dial it back and hopefully make it natural. But anyway, so I'm going to start with turning my phone off, or on vibrate. So there's 2 worksheets, one of which is vowel sounds and the second is consonant sounds. And it basically lists every single vowel sound there is and gives you 3 example words of that vowel sound for each different sound. So you kind of just go through it and say each 3 words for each sound, attempting to say it within the accent that you are trying to learn. So I'm just going to start. So I'm starting with vowels. Okay. Cockney, that's what I'm doing, isn't it? Okay, Cockney. Task, rather, mark. Stern, bird, turf. Board, walker, law. She, mean, feed. Moves, crude, boots. Kids, steal, wished. Sad, band, splashed. Fresh, 10th, section. Button, worried, wonders. What, soft, costly. costly. Look, pullets, put. The alone, mother. Money, happy, silly. Fluctuate, mutual, gruel. Stimulus, tremulous. Near, fear, rear. There, hair, fair. Those are the two sounds that I really struggle with. Mature, poor, lure. They, say, away. Time, high, awry. Boy, loin, android. No, so, ago. How, loud, vow. Player, conveyor, slayer. Science, violet, fire. Lawyer, royal, toil. Lower, mower, blower. Power, sour, flower. Okay. Consonants are as follows. Peel, approach, stoop. Bell, tribute, tube. Merry, campaign, handsome. Fellow, after, stuff. Very, average, give. Western, stalwart, away. What, weather, a while. Think, athlete, truth. This, rather, blithe. Time, futile, hat. Deep, addition, bed. Sip, assume, bliss. Bliss, bliss. Sip, assume, bliss. Zest, presume, heads. Last, flower, similar. Pull, self, silver. Neither, antique, fun. Shift, vicious, posh. Beige, centrifuge, rouge. Chest, ancient, lurch. Jump, adjacent, badge. Red, arrow, rural. Yesterday, canyon, vineyard. Kept, silken, shack. Guest, begotten, big. Sing, link, Lincoln. Have, ahead, huge. Have, ahead, huge. A lot of people in England tend to drop their H's. People in Manchester do that too. The next exercise is a list of sentences that demonstrate those sounds. Number 1. The task was the last that the past master could grasp, but one can't mark his charm harmfully. Oh, that is so bad. The stern learner heard from a bird how to burn turf in Turkey and Burma. A bored walker swore, talking about corn was a chore in the storm-torn store outside the law. She was seen to be evil in the mean streets where the bees feed and schemes are the key. Tunes are used for new moves to lose the clues about astute losers whose crude boots bruise the loose newts. The kids were hidden in the middle of the tin bins where the hit list was still wished to fictionally exist. The sad man was actually a cad when marriage was banned and the bad band got splashed by the stacked hash. The hell-bent hen was speckled and freshly sent by the men of the 10th Regiment of the 7th Section. "Don't touch much stuff," said the glum, sun-struck nun who worried over the fun-loving wonders. "She's got a soft spot in the grotto for washing tops and bottoms of costly socks while watching odd bods. Some of them are just so weird." "Look at the cookbook," said the cook as he took the pullets and put them in the nook. "Actors and authors have a special set of acquaintances above another mezzanine area of the gallery where women can alert the workers. "I hope you don't go home alone," moaned the old crone who was holding a cold toasting poker of oak. Okay, I'm just going to stop there on those sentences because they kind of annoy me because they're so odd, like they don't make sense. You know what I mean? They don't really make sense. Nobody would ever say that. The fourth exercise in this little booklet I've made from my uni days is a story that contains all the vowels and consonant sounds in the English language. So it's really good to go through when you're learning a new accent. However, I can't use this anymore because I've used it so many times that it's hard to read it in the new accent I'm practicing because I've read it so many times in so many different accents, so it doesn't really help anymore, which is a shame because it's a story about a rat called Arthur, and that's just like one of the funnest things to read in a Cockney accent is a story about a rat called Arthur. I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from. Have to keep going over the things that I notice I've said wrong. Sorry if the way I'm talking doesn't sound human. I'm not that used to the accent yet, so I have to keep going over what I say that's wrong. So, as I'm not reading Arthur the Rat, unfortunately, I'm going to read an article from this magazine. Sorry if I swear as well, because sometimes I like to swear when I'm practicing an accent because it really helps me understand the workings of the accent, because everybody swears. That makes sense. Probably doesn't. Sorry if it doesn't. So let's find something. I'm gonna read something for you today from a magazine called Crack. And that's also something really fun to say in a Cockney accent. Crack. This video's probably awful. Really sorry. Right. Ooh. TV on the radio is playing in Manchester on the 17th of February. That's good to know. Who else is playing? Gruff Rhys. Oh, I do like Gruff Rhys playing. Manchester Academy 2. Leeds Art School. Who else is playing? Let's see. Got me mug of tea. Standard. I've noticed one of the things I'm struggling with this accent is it's really hard to speak like this and still keep my own personality within my voice, because certain accents make you feel like certain characteristics, and it kind of changes my personality, as you can probably tell as well. It's my voice sounds different. The way I'm talking, the way I'm putting emphasis on words is completely different, and that can be hard when you want to harness your own personality to help you with a character, but you're trying to do an accent at the same time. It's quite difficult. What shall I read? So for my research, I watched Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I watched Snatch, some EastEnders, and what was it called? The Hooligan Factory, about football firms in London. That was pretty grim actually, because I'm not a big fan of hooliganism, so that kind of freaked me out a little bit. Sorry, just checking my phone there. My friend's moving to New Zealand tomorrow, so I'm going to go see her in a bit. Just checking I've not missed her. There's nothing interesting to read in this magazine called Crack. Sounds like a contradiction. You'd think in a magazine called Crack there'd be something interesting to read. I'm just going to pick something now. Okay, here we go. Something musical we have here. Right. I'm going to fold this page over as quietly as possible, or as loudly as possible. There we go, that wasn't so bad. Gonna have a little sip of tea. Alright, here we go. Of all the most outlandish album concepts in the annals of pop music, the inspiration behind Jane Weaver's The Silver Globe probably ranks somewhere in the middle. Released last year on Weaver's own Finders Keepers label, the record takes many of its cues from Polish director. I'm not going to attempt to read that in a Cockney accent. Oh, I'll show you though. No, I can't show you. I can't quite bend that way. Obscure sci-fi flick on the Silver Globe. The film was shot in the mid-70s but was suppressed by the communist Polish government until 1988 due to its subversive anti-totalitarian plot, which centres on building a new society on an unknown planet and ultimately overthrowing its oppressive indigenous occupants. As if Zulawski's communist bashing subplot isn't convoluted enough, Weaver then performs her own act of subversion in reinterpreting the filmmaker's work as a metaphor for the changing state of the music industry, both aesthetically and on a narrative level. The post-apocalyptic theme definitely struck a chord with me, the way I've been involved in the industry for donkey's years, she says with a soft Mancunian accent down a crackling phone line from her home. I've seen so much change and it had a big effect on me as an artist too. I'm thinking, where is it all going to end, you know? How are people going to hear our music and how are we going to trade? Are there still going to be gold, platinum records or what? Weaver also sees parallels between the allegorical tale of the protagonist looking for a better life on a new planet and her own real-life experience of seeing artists chasing the nirvana of record deals and the broken promises and relationships that often follow. There have been a few bad seeds along the way in my time who've just said, I'm going to use this template of yours, or I'm going to take all this that you've given me and I'm going to try and do this somewhere else, or whatever she says, alluding to her experience of running a label. The grass is always greener. That's one thing that I definitely have to remember is words like grass, bath, glass, past, last, ask, answer, circumstances, demanding, all those words. The 42-year-old might have recorded an album partially indebted to the vagaries of life in outer space, but she spent the best part of her 23-year music career flying under the radar back here on Earth. Liverpool born but Manchester raised, she began her career fronting Britpop foursome Kill Laura in the early 90s, before forming folktronica outfit Misty Dixon in 2002. That same year, Weaver released her first solo album, Like an Aspen Leaf, and a further 6 have followed. Critics tend to bunker into the psych folk section next to the likes of Joanna Newsom, Meg Bard, and the rest of the New Weird America gang, though Weaver herself has always distanced herself from the scene, stressing that she considers herself a recording artist first and foremost. Still, you'd be hard pressed to argue that Linda perhaps didn't cast a sizable shadow over the mystical reveries of Weaver's previous album, The Fallen by Watchbird. The Fallen by Watchbird. Yeah, that's it. That was 4 years ago. Since then, Weaver's nascent cosmic interests have been dovetailed by a stylistic pivot towards the cosmiche sounds of krautrock. My gosh, I've never heard of many of these musical subgenres. The singer's breathy classical English voice still floats above it all, but where before there might have been an acoustic guitar or glockenspiel underneath, this time there's a hulking meteoric beat or a hawkwind sample rumbling away. It all makes for quite a contrast, albeit an immensely enjoyable one. It may even be Weaver's most satisfying release to date. It is fair to see the shift as a bit of a rebellion against type. I was getting a bit bored with the singer-songwriter folk tag, Weaver concedes, but when I was doing gigs live as well, I wasn't really enjoying trying to represent and do a whole album just by myself. I didn't have a band at the time. So Weaver assembled a solid supporting cast of collaborators, working with soundtrack composer David Holmes and becoming inspired by his wealth of analogue equipment. The new LP also features guest appearances from pianist Susie Ciani, who used to soundtrack old Atari video game commercials. Oh, that's cool. Damon Gow, badly drawn boy, and her husband, DJ and producer Andy Vogtel. The community we've got at Finders Keepers and all over the world really is brilliant. All the plaudits have come at a cost though. Weaver suggested her next release might need to be on a smaller scale than her recent bombastic turn. After the new record was done, I was exhausted, she laughs wearily. I couldn't imagine doing this kind of thing again. Next time might just be something quite stark and minimal, and me alone, not necessarily acoustic, but less stressful. Yeah, because it will literally have an effect on my health if I do anything like that again. Either way, Weaver's continuously evolving vision guarantees another beguiling listen. And that was Jane Weaver on her new album, The Silver Globe. So, that was an article from Crack. Sounds so fun in a Cockney accent. Not that crack sounds fun. No, that's not what I meant. My Cockney accent is probably really shit, and if so, I'm sorry for subjecting you to this. Objecting you to this. I don't even fucking know anymore. Objecting you to this. To this? That's probably right. I don't know. Probably is right. Let's just say it is for now. Thing is, I haven't received a script, so I don't know what words I'm going to be saying next week. So that's why I'm just practicing talking all sorts of crap, all sorts of jibber jabber, just so then I'm prepared, you know. I can pick up something and read it in a Cockney accent, and hopefully it'll be fine. So yeah, wish me luck. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it was a bit weird, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.